Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review today. Going back to Springbank, Dustin, your favorite single malt Scotch distillery.
Yep.
This time the 15-year-old, the 2021, the green. Dustin, this one, I'm usually not the biggest fan of the 15 green.
No, it's my least favorite of the core.
But this is dark, buddy.
Yeah, I have a couple black box ones open and ready to go to at home that I mean to get some point bring in for us to review, just because I don't think we've reviewed one that old. But I was looking at this thing and I was like, God, that's dark. I said, it's got at the very least to be a different profile from what I'm used to on the Springbank 15. Mm-hmm. Might not be as good because, as you guys know, I have found that some of these younger, more recent releases, I am not a super fan of super dark sherry cask. But it's Springbank. I give them the benefit of the doubt.
What that means is he's going to buy it anyway. That's what that means. Okay.
Well, I wasn't going to buy it when I saw the original price.
Okay. This comes in at 46% as usual from Springbank. A minimum for a good ABV.
Yeah.
Is what I would call 46.
Yeah.
It's a good ABV. I wish it was 48.
It's the minimum acceptable, but yeah, 48 would be game changing.
Yes, so we have our complaints. All right, very, very good color. Springbank, as you know, natural color, unchill filtered, hand bottled. Mm-hmm. They do everything, quote unquote, the right way, or the way we would like to see them do it.
Yeah.
As whiskey.
Very
connoisseurs.
craft, very old school.
Yes. All right, let's get into this one. Ooh,
Dark.
That's
dark.
Dark,
grapey. This is like the darkest days. Like this isn't. I mean, it's not even like it's too dark to even say raisins for me right here, Mike.
Whew. It's a black cherry.
Big old wallop of oak though at the end, and it's a very it's an assertive oak. It's a little too aggressive for me.
It almost comes off like a very dark cherry, which is something I only get in bourbons usually and rarely, but it's there in this one. This was a very aggressive sherry cask.
This is almost like a toasted French oak, which I'm pretty sure they aren't using French oak here, but maybe Spanish Oloroso. But
okay, now took a second to get past that cask. Nice honey's coming in.
Mm-hmm. Get a little bit of cookies. You know what I don't get, Mike? This is the least Springbank funk I've ever gotten on a heavily sherried Springbank.
It's a clean sherry.
Very clean sherry, especially for Springbank.
Now it's getting sugary. So yeah, the sugar cookies are coming in. That bread note's coming back now.
Yeah, that's the barley's coming through. The classic Springbank malt, absolutely.
Okay. To properly articulate to the audience how dank this and how thick and rich the sherry is, imagine, as you would with any Springbank that we're doing, you're baking cookies. Mm-hmm. You're putting sugar on them. It's a beautiful day. Mm-hmm. This is how this differs from normal Springbank. Oh no, you're just submerged underwater. And it's got sherry wine in it. You're not going to live long. So grab the cookies, jam them in your mouth, and swim to safety. You know what I mean? We are absolutely drowning in sherry here.
We always talk sugar cookies, but I'm almost thinking like oatmeal raisin cookies that have been literally soaked in a sherry cask.
The only reason you say oatmeal raisin is because because of the raisin. Because you got to get something.
Well, I didn't have raisin until I really dug in and I started getting the malt, and then I'm getting cookie notes. And I mean, the only thing I've never had a sugar cookie with raisins in it, maybe, and then I've also never had those poured into a sherry cask and then oak. But that's what I got.
You have marinated soft batch cookies. You've taken Keebler soft batch cookies, took out the chocolate, chocolate pieces, added raisins, and then marinated them in 4 inches of sherry wine.
Yeah, this actually almost gives me a little bit of a Moscatel note versus Oloroso.
Come on.
Because of that grapiness I'm getting.
It's grapey. There ain't no doubt about that. This is almost Dimetap grape, like that you've talked about before. And to me, that's either PX or Oloroso.
This is darker than that. This is a level darker than Dimetap.
Man. They're spraying Paxarat in cast these days again, or what?
I don't know what they're doing, Mike. I mean, it's got to be they found a way to make sherry darker, or they're doing some kind of burning on the oak to give it that darker color.
This almost smells like witchcraft.
I mean,
it's so dark, man.
This is not the classic sherry butts that I really like from the past, but it's also, this isn't that Edgedower where it's just terrible either. Sorry for the Edgedower fans, Travis. My apologies.
It's a different sherry for sure. Yeah. But it is heavy and it is in wallops here, man.
Yeah, I mean, this could be like the same sherry they used in that 18 we loved, but then, they blended that with a heavy set of bourbon to kind of
say what you want. I'm enjoying this 15 as much as I've enjoyed any 15-year-old Springbank.
That is not a high bar to cross, but yes, I'm fine with that.
Smooth, palatable, but very, sherry. Wow. Grape almost.
It's straight up grape.
Purple crayon.
Hey, Macallan, this is what purple tastes like.
This is what purple tastes like. Macallan edition number 5 is what we're talking about. Yeah, this is what purple tastes like.
Yeah, up front, very easy drinking. Almost a little too thin.
Yeah, on the palate. You're right, in the front of the palate.
And it's really just sweet candy sherry with a very clean, simple malt, which isn't Springbank. And then you get to the finish. It's a little too oaky. Those oak casks are a little too aggressive there. And they're playing a weird game with the Springbank peat and malt, where they're kind of fighting with each other. And
it's a sickly sherry, too. It's almost like a too sweet, almost like cough syrup style sherry.
Yeah. It's Dimetap aged in oak. There we go. I'll get to your Dimetap. It's aged in oak, man.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very great.
It's very oaky. I mean, this is almost, I would say it's more oak than I've ever had on a 15.
Yeah, and then it's kind of drying now with a few minutes here on the finish, and it's almost getting sort of brittle as far as the taste of it.
My tongue is dried out too, which is from the sherry because it's 46%. It's not alcohol driven.
Sure. Oh yeah. You're absolutely right. Now that you say that, it makes perfect sense.
Now there is a little bit of a beef broth. There is a bit of an umami element where the oak and the Springbank malt come together, kind of mid palate, and it's still lingering just barely there on the finish.
I can't get past it to even get to that note. I really can't.
There's just a little there. Now, guys, I just opened this. I think I opened this last night or the night before. I just got it. As you saw, it was still. The neck was barely even clear.
A little early, and if it opens up, we'll come back to it for sure. Because Springbanks sometimes do.
Yeah, I brought this over because we got a few friends coming over, and I knew we had some Springbank lovers coming over, so I wanted to share this with them. Plus, I was just shocked at the color. And also, these bottles are probably going to be gone in 2 days, so
don't make
anybody
excuses.
Wants one.
Don't make excuses.
I have to make a trip tomorrow to go pick them up.
All right, I put some water in it. It almost made it more grape.
Now
this is just a great gorilla in the room.
I'm getting more raisin now with the water. It's grape and raisins.
Okay, sure. Maybe grape raisins.
There is a medium umami thing here, but man, it's so hard to get to. I can't even describe it because it's so hard to get past the sherry. Mm-hmm. This is an absolute sherry bomb where the sherry has absolutely overpowered the malt. Mm-hmm. Not even a question. And
even at 46% ABV, it's shocking. It comes off even as a higher ABV than that. Mm-hmm. If you told me it's 50%, I would believe you.
I think that drying from the sherry
gives it a punch.
It's not even the sherry; it's the oak. This is so tannic, so oaky.
All right.
It's a different beast, though.
Yeah, we might come back to it if it breathes a little bit more. If you tell me this improves and comes back and be stronger whiskey, I will absolutely come back to it. Yep. So, as we did last one, I'm going to write down a score, Dustin. I'm going to let you give me a score, but before you say your score,
So I'm going to give you guys
my down.
I'm going to give you guys 2 scores here. I'm going to give you the score that I'll give this if you're a sherry bomb lover first, and that is an 88. But from a whiskey score, I'm going to give this an 85, Mike. The sherry overpowers the malt to a level that is just too much. The malt tries to come out, and again, this is a bold, big malt in Springbank.
For sure.
It's trying to come out, and that oak note is just too strong. It's too powerful. The up front is beautiful, but it's also kind of a little thin and a little simple, just initially up front. And so while I really like the nose on it, and I really like that sherry note, and if you like sherry, this is an 88 all day. You might even want to go a point higher. But if you are drinking this as a Springbank fan or a fan of single malt, the actual spirit, I'm going 85.
Yeah, so I've never been a huge fan of 15. The smell was my best smelling 15. There's no question about that. It's an aggressive cask that can overpower what Springbank is and its malt and its profile and everything else. But we've done this here. I don't mind that happening. There are whiskeys that happens to, and it's absolutely beautiful. This is not. This is good, but not beautiful.
I just got a hint of funk.
So I am at an 86
Okay.
out of 100. I was kind of firmly an 86. I considered 85. I considered 85 before an 87, but not for very long. It's a solid whiskey.
Yep.
It has a good mouthfeel. You can tell there's quality casts in there. It's very simple. It's very one-dimensional. I could get over that and just say this is just a nice sherried whiskey that comes off like it hits higher than its 46% ABV, except for one thing.
The drying of the oak?
The softness of the taste initially on the palate.
Oh, yeah, that's another issue.
It's just too thin on the palate. I could have gave it an 87 if not for that. Or maybe an 88, like you said, for someone who likes sherry bombs. Because, again, it does hit higher than its weight.
Yeah.
Because I like sherry whiskey.
But that's a classic note in every 15 I've had, Mike, is that up front, they're too thin.
I agree.
Whether it's the refilled ones from the past or this one, they always come off super thin up
That's
front.
the ABV. You can be tricked on color. You can be tricked on texture sometimes. You can be tricked on smell, finish. Man, it's hard to really, when it first hits your palate, be tricked as far as ABV. We've seen it with the Lefroy 28. We've seen it with a lot of
But
whiskeys.
like, if you drink this next to the 18, way better mouthfeel, way better up front. It just does more. This just kind of just thin.
It is.
Simple.
It is.
But
That's where we're at.
yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Anyway, we try to bring as many of these Springbanks to you as humanly possible. We like to drink them. We always buy them, so we're going to be reviewing them. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you then.